Are we live? Hang on, wait a second. Are we live right now? Star Wars fans, are we here? Are we live? Are we here? Are we live? Hang on one second. Are we live right now? Hold up. Wait a second. Did you guys watch what I just watched? Did you just watch what I just watched? Did you guys see that episode? Did you guys see that episode yesterday? Did you guys see that episode yesterday? Did you guys see that episode yesterday? Hang on, my camera's being weird. What is going on? Hang on one second, guys. I got this. Don't worry about it. Oh, come on. What is going on? What is going on? Hang on. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My camera is being stupid, ladies and gentlemen. It's being stupid. All right, while we wait, rank this episode out of 10 in the comments section right now, in the chat. Rank this episode out of 10, episode 7 of The Mandalorian, season 3. And while you do that, I'm gonna fix this camera because it's really pissing me off. Somebody play some nice classical music while we listen to this. Honey Badger says 10 out of 10. Hopefully this worked. I just rebooted it. Let's see. Oh, I think it worked. What's up, Star Wars fans? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. I know we're already 2 minutes into the stream and you are just now seeing my face. I don't know what happened, but we're here. We are live. We are here and we are live. We did it. Off to a little bit of a rocky start, but you know, it happens sometimes. If any of you guys were around here a few months ago, you would be around for when a bunch of the streams actually just stopped. And we would have to restart my whole PC, and then my stream would be like 20 minutes late, and we'd be lucky if anybody came back, because everybody was like, no, I don't want to hear that guy talk anyway. Yeah. So rank that episode out of 10 in the chat as we speak right now, and we are going to break down this episode. We got some other stuff to talk about as well. We got the Dave Filoni movies coming in 2026. Like, what? We got a bunch of other things to talk about as well. It's going to be a very, very fun stream. Honey Badger says 10 out of 10. He also says bad cameras don't follow orders. Yeah, what the hell's up with that? He also says, let's freaking go. So hype. Let's get hype for this stream. Hashtag Din is that guy forever and always. I don't know about that. We're going to talk about it later, but Din Djarin might die in this finale. What? Okay. 10 out of 10, he says. Yeah, okay. I gave it a 9 out of 10, and we'll get into why I gave it a 9 out of 10, and we'll talk about all of that in a second. We'll break down the episode as people coming on in right now. So what happened in this episode? I do believe that it was the best of this season, like hands down the best of the season, but I also think this episode lives up to the hype, and it could be one of the best episodes of the entire series of The Mandalorian, rivaling like the Mount Tantus episode with Boba Fett. It's probably behind, but close to the Ahsoka episode, and it's probably not as good as the Luke episode, but it is a very, very good episode. It is in that top tier when you're talking about the Mandalorian series as a whole. Talking about the Mandalorian series as a whole. But how did this episode started on Coruscant in the nighttime, and the name of this episode was The Spies. Now we'll talk about why it was called The Spies in a little bit, but we're going to break down the episode. Let's break down the episode. Let's do it. So it starts on Coruscant, and you got Elia Kane. Let's make it better. There we go. There we go. You got Elia Kane talking to a probe droid on Coruscant. Kind of cool. It scans her face, and we see, for the first time all season, Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon is finally here. And she warns him that that the attack on Navarro, the pirate attack, which we find out was actually planned by Moff Gideon, what's his name? The New Republic guy, Carson Teva. Carson Teva was right. It was Moff Gideon's plan to have the pirates attack Navarro, and actually, he did not anticipate that Din and Bo would work together and fight him off. He said they're sworn enemies, that shouldn't have happened, blah, 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 blah. Then we get Moff Gideon in the flesh. And he walks through these awesome red ray shields, looks a lot like the Phantom Menace. I heard people crapping on these guards standing here. Well, what if somebody can just get through the ray shield with, like, what if somebody just destroys the ray shield? Who's going to stop them then? Guards. How about the more important question is, why is there so many guards and ray shields protecting these Bacta tanks that are behind this wall? I don't know. I heard a lot of people complain about this episode, and all their complaints were really, really stupid. Okay. But we then see Moff Gideon, and he walks into a boardroom meeting of sorts, and this group is called the Shadow Council. By the way, whoever came up with that name, epic name. But this is the Shadow Council. They're the people who take over for the Empire while they are trying to rebuild. Well, the Empire is dead. Well, Snoke is yet to be created. Well, Thrawn is in the new beyond. These are the people who are in charge. And it's a board. It's the Shadow Council. It's a council of people, of higher-ups in the Empire, Moff Gideon being one of them. And there are two other very, very, very familiar faces. And the first being Captain Pellaeon. Captain Pellaeon. So Captain Pellaeon is from the Heir to the Empire series. He is Thrawn's right-hand man. He's the guy who kept saying in the boardroom meeting, wait for Thrawn. Thrawn's coming, wait for Thrawn. Thrawn is coming. And he will bring an army and all that stuff. Thrawn was mentioned so many times in this boardroom. I was like, Thrawn. Here's the thing. I don't think Thrawn is going to show up in this finale for a few reasons, but the biggest one being they're gonna wait till the Ahsoka show, and then even in the Ahsoka show, we probably won't see him till the later half of the season because he is the big bad, and they're going to have other bads, and then the big bad is going to be the one that's in the movie. So Grand Admiral Thrawn will be the main bad guy in the movie. So I do not believe that we are going to see Grand Admiral Thrawn in this finale. And you might not see him as much as you would think in the Ahsoka show as well. But we get to see his right-hand man, at least from Legends Legends novels, Heir to the Empire, Captain Pellaeon. I don't know why I always have so much trouble saying his name. But then you have Commandant Hux. So a lot of people heard the name Hux and were like, is that General Hux? He looks nothing like General Hux. No, it's his dad. It's General Hux from the sequel trilogy's dad. And he's working on a project called Project Necromancer. Now, Project Necromancer, we aren't like 100% sure what it means, but we have an idea. It's one of two things, at least I believe it's one of two things. Project Necromancer is the bringing back of Palpatine or the creation of Supreme Leader Snoke. So Supreme Leader Snoke, we know, of course, becomes the leader of the First Order, and he's the main bad guy of the sequel trilogy for the first two movies, and then Palpatine comes in the end, because somehow Palpatine returned. But, this Project Necromancer is going to be a very important thing moving forward for The Mandalorian, and the finale and The Mandalorian season 4 as well. But it's also going to be very, very important for maybe the Skeleton Crew show, or maybe even, of course, the movie that Dave Filoni is writing in general. So this guy, Hux's dad, is going to be extremely important. Fun fact, this guy is actually the guy who played General Hux, blanking on the actor's name completely. The guy who plays General Hux in the sequel trilogy, this is his brother. Kind of crazy in real life, of course. His brother plays his dad. Yeah, exactly. So, then we finally get to the Mando of it, and Mando is back on Navarro. And he's greeted with a nice surprise, or kind of a surprise for Grogu, more like. Grogu gets inside of IG-12. Now, it was an IG-11, now is IG-12. So this is crazy. These leaks were from years ago, like at least a year and a half ago. We were talking about, and I've probably made a video, you can probably go back a long time ago on the channel and find the video of me saying that there's a rumor going around, I definitely didn't do that in the video, but I should have, that Grogu is going to ride inside of IG-11 like freaking Iron Man. So it was kind of crazy, far-fetched. We didn't think anything of it until we finally saw it in this episode, and I thought it was awesome. Grogu can finally communicate to us with just 2 simple words, yes and no, and it was freaking hilarious. It was a great use of Grogu, a great use of IG-11, a great use of humor in the episode. It was awesome. Now, I really do hope we get to see Grogu use the Force in this finale, because there's been a lack of Grogu using the Force throughout this entire season, but him in the IG unit is awesome. It's great. It's great. But the Mandalorians devise a plan to go back to Mandalore and to try to reclaim their home. What they don't know is that there's an Imperial base there. When they finally get, like, they run into the pirates, all that stuff happens, blah, blah, blah. The armor goes back up to the ship. They finally get to the Great Forge, and they get attacked by these Imperial troopers that are wearing Beskar armor, axe wolves, jetpacks out of there, and then they retreat, but the Mandalorians just chase them. Din and Grogu and Bo-Katan and all of them. They just chase them down. Stupid. Really dumb. Really stupid and dumb. Dumb, stupid, stupid, dumb, 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 dumb. Because they get trapped, of course, inside of 2 reinforced walls, except for a few Mandos, including Din, and the other Mandos were not so lucky as Din as to survive. But Din survives and gets captured. And that's when our boy, Moff Gideon, comes down in his new, shiny, Dark Trooper Beskar armor. Of course, he's fitted in the all black, some red spikes on his helmet. Dark Trooper Beskar armor. So he explains that this is the next generation of Beskar armor. And the one flaw that was in the armor before was that it was a droid. And now it has a human inside. A lot like parallels, a lot like Grogu in IG-11. IG was a droid, and now he's being controlled by a living being. Very interesting. Grogu's evil. Confirmed. But this suit is awesome. I really hope we get to see a lot more of this in the finale of this season. And I don't doubt that we won't. I bet you we see a lot of this in the season finale. I bet you we see Moff Gideon versus Bo-Katan. Who knows what's going on with Din Djarin? He just got captured. There's a lot going on in this episode that sets up the season finale. But this episode ends on a very, very sad note, where, of course, Paz Vizsla sacrifices himself to save all the other Mandalorians. In a badass way, he takes out a bunch of these Imperial troopers wearing Beskar armor, and in a very heroic end, he dies to some Praetorian guards. So the Praetorian guards being in there was awesome. They come in and they're like the main boss in like a Mario game or something, and they just come in and whoop his ass. But R.I.P. Paz Vizsla, of course, whoop his ass with respect. But the Praetorian guards were awesome. The fact that they have the Mandalorian looking helmets was so cool. It was great. It was great. It was great. Such a good episode. 9 out of 10. Of course, I can't give it a 10 out of 10. There was so much. It was a 50-minute episode, and so much of it was just like, oh, they find the pirate ship. Oh, they get attacked by that giant monster. And I felt like all that could have just been avoided. And I know that you have to tell the story, and it made sense, and it really did make sense and furthered the plot, but it just kept it at a 9 out of 10. It wasn't a 10 out of 10. It wasn't like the finale of season 2, which is just straight fire the entire time, where they come into Moff Gideon's cruiser, they just kick ass the entire time, and then when they finally are about to die to the Dark Troopers, Luke Skywalker shows up, saves the day. Like, that didn't happen. But it was so good. You had Gideon in his arm. Well, let's go full screen. Let's go full screen so I can talk at you guys. You had Gideon in his armor. You had the Praetorian guards. You had mentions of Thrawn. You had Captain Pelion. You had Commandant Hux, which is General Hux's dad. You had Bo-Katan explain what actually happened, how she lost the Darksaber to Gideon. You had the armor, most likely a spy. All right, let's talk about that. The name of this episode is The Spies. Right? And I was confused because when I saw that, I was like, oh, 6. Somebody's a spy. Din Djarin and Bo-Katan are about to be turned on by somebody. And it never happened through the entire season. I mean, episode. It never happened. So I was like, why the hell is this episode called The Spies? So, of course, tell me who you guys think are the spies of this episode. Come on. Please tell me. Tell me. As I catch up on chats. Okay, let's see. Star Wars Stu says, yo, what's up, Star Wars Stu? He said, Hux is dead. Yeah, exactly. Hux was wasted potential. He really was. I'm the spy. Like, really, that's the end you gave General Hux, really? I'm the spy. Come on. Honey Badger says, what if Thrawn shows up at the end of season 3 to set up Ahsoka? I don't think so. I think Thrawn is going to be stuck in the New Beyond, even in the Ahsoka show. But yeah, and we get a time jump in the Ahsoka from Bad Batch, where she currently is, and then a time jump to the middle of the season. Actually, that would be a good idea. I probably should have read the rest of your chat before I gave you my stupid answer. No. Yeah, maybe that would make sense if Thrawn shows up at the end, and then the beginning of the Ahsoka show actually just takes place before The Mandalorian Season 3, and then it leads up to the finale of The Mandalorian. I don't think they'll do that, but it would make sense. Mando Season 4 picks up right after Ahsoka and will tie into the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and The Mandalorian into Dave's Mando movie. It is interesting because we'll talk about it later, but the Mandalorian movie that Dave Filoni is working on is set to release in 2026 as it's reported. Rumor, as it's reported. 2026. So that's still a ways away. We're in 2023 right now. That's 3 years away. And what's crazy about that is, of course, we have the Ahsoka show later this year, the Skeleton Crew show later this year. We're talking about only shows that take place in the Mandalorian timeline. So those two take place in this year. Next year is 2024. We're expected to get The Mandalorian Season 4, and that might be it for the Mando timeline. Then maybe it's announced we get a Book of Boba Fett Season 2 or an Ahsoka Season 2. I do believe that we were getting an Ahsoka Season 2 for sure. So maybe 2025 is the Ahsoka Season 2, and maybe, just maybe, there will be a Mando Season 5 in that same year. And that would lead perfectly into 2026, where we see the Mandalorian movie, which would make sense. It would make perfect sense if that's how it went. Or maybe it's not a Mando Season 5, it's a Book of Boba Fett Season 2. I don't know. Star Wars 2 says, I think the pirates are with Gideon. Why would Gideon just let them go around on the surface? And they led them right to him. I think they offered them food or something. The pirates that Din and Bo, like the Mandalorian pirates, the Mandalorians that were still alive on the surface of Mandalore, they could be the spies. But here's the thing. Why wouldn't they just say that at the end of the episode? Many of the pirates actually died in those fight scenes, which also wouldn't make sense. Why would they just kill themselves? Why would they make a deal with the Empire but end up dying anyway? I get where you're coming from, and it would make sense if they were the spies, but I feel like it would have been revealed then. They would have trusted these Mandalorians, they would have taken them right to where they wanted, and then boom, I'm the spy, and it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. But no, that's not how it happened. I don't know. Star Wars 2 says, Mandalorian. He's a Maul supporter. It's interesting. I don't think he's a Mandalorian. And Honey Badger says, Gideon's a Mandalorian. I called it. I know, you called it. But here's the thing. I still don't think he's a Mandalorian. Darth Maul was ruler of Mandalore before Order 66. Right? So that's before the Empire as a whole. So the Mandalorians don't follow Darth Maul after Order 66 because Maul's no longer there. Ahsoka takes him with her in season 7 of the Clone Wars. So the Mandalorians actually are like Clan Saxon, and they become the Empire. They work with the Empire. So they technically are still Mandalorians, sure, but they aren't Darth Maul's Mandalorians, you know. And we did talk about how maybe because Gar Saxon dies in Rebels, maybe Moff Gideon comes in and takes the role of leader of Clan Saxon from Gar Saxon after he dies, and that could make sense. And maybe he is a Mandalorian or just a follower, like Star Wars 2 says they still support Maul. Maybe he is a follower of Maul, and that would be really, really cool. If Moff Gideon gives a shout out to Darth Maul in this finale, I'll freaking lose it. I'll go crazy. I'll actually go crazy. The real question is, do we do a live watch party next week? And the real answer might be yes. I might actually. We started the season off with a live watch party. Episode 1, season 3, we did a live watch party. I think we must do one for the finale. I don't know. You guys might have to persuade me a little bit. Persuade me. Honey Badger says, it was Rick Famuyama, but yes, Dave's influence was there. No, Dave wrote this episode with Rick. So Dave directed this episode, yes, but, Rick directed this episode. Rick directed this episode, but Dave Filoni was a co-writer on this episode. And Dave Filoni only wrote 2 episodes, or co-wrote 2 episodes this season. It was the one with the Order 66 flashbacks, and it was this episode. Yeah. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Star Wars 2 says, it's the pirate Mandalorians in the armor as the spies. I definitely think the armor is a very valid option. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. Axe Wolf and the armor are the spies. Honey Badger says, I've said it and I stand by it. It was the armorer who recommended to go to the Great Forge where Gideon and his troopers are hiding. It's Axe and the armor for sure. Interesting. We'll talk about it. Honey Badger says, we saw the character of Christopher Lloyd is a separatist and follows Count Dooku. Very, very true. So Gideon could follow them all. Is that what you're trying to get at? That would make that would make a lot of sense. Would. Star Wars 2 says, it's Dave. He didn't give the armor and Gideon's horns for no reason. You guys are really typing in all caps tonight. I like it. Yes, do a live stream watch party. You have to, or free ponchos for all of us. Interesting. You will do a live stream. Maybe. You might be convincing me. All right, let's talk about the armor and why I think she's a spy. By the way, I'm working on a full-length video that this comes out maybe tomorrow, if not Saturday. So here's why I think it could be Axe Wolves or the armor. So these are the 2 characters that weren't there when they got captured. So I don't believe that it's the pirates because many of them died when they got to the Great Forge. On the fight on the little cliff edge thing, a lot of them died. So why would they just kill themselves pretty much? But 2 characters and 2 very specific important characters left the scene before it got bad. And that was the armor and Axe Wolves. So it's very interesting because Axe has been a little bit of an oddball the entire time. He's always been getting into fights with Paz. He's always he took Bo's whole freaking army that she assembled and left without her and said, look, we're going to become mercenaries. We're just going to work for money. And there's a very specific line at the beginning of episode 6 or something. I think it was episode 6, where Cosca Reeves says, if the price is right, we'll do any job. Something along those lines. It's very interesting because the Empire could have just paid them to bring Bo and Din right to them. I don't know. It's interesting. Now, the armor, on the other hand. The armor is a very, very big question mark in the whole Mandoverse. She's been around since day 1. She was in the first season of The Mandalorian. And we don't know who she is. She's got no backstory. Why is she so important? Why is everybody following her? What? Why is the armor this big, important leadership role character? Who is this lady? There's a lot of different theories going around on who the armorer could be, but I honestly don't care. It's more of, is she screwing Din Djarin right now? Is she the spy? Is she the one who has just been pulling Din Djarin along for so long, saying, oh yeah, Mandalore, yeah, sure, yeah, Mandalore, yeah. The only way you can be a Mandalorian again is if you go bathe in the waters on Mandalore. Oh yeah, Honey Badger said earlier, go to the Great Forge. It's a good spot where the Empire is, and of course her helmet has horns. Moff Gideon's helmet has horns. It ain't rocket science, people. It ain't rocket science. I don't know. The armor is a very odd duckling. And I believe this finale will give us a lot of answers. It'll give us a lot of answers, and it will definitely tell us who the spies were, of course. And the weird thing about it is the name of the episode isn't The Spy. So we're not talking about it's just Axe Wolves or it's just the armor. We're talking about the spies. The spies. Multiple spies. So it's going to be interesting to see who the spies were in this finale. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what actually is going to happen in this finale. So let's talk about the finale. Let's give a little bit. We're going to do a prediction stream next Tuesday, of course. But let's talk about the finale. What do you guys have for predictions for this finale? Din Djarin's captured right now. The Mandalorians are on the run right now. If this is in fact true, the bombers and TIE interceptors are going straight for their fleet right now. What do you think is going to happen in this finale? What do you think? What do you think? Honey Badger says, yes, Mike, I got you on the bad guy armorer train. Maybe. Star Wars 2 says, forgot her name, but Sasha Banks, Cosca Reeves. Cosca Reeves said they do stuff for the right price. Yes, foreshadowing that they will be paid off by Gideon. Axe Wolves leaves after the attack. True, but Cosca Reeves doesn't. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Honey Badger says, I'd also like to point out the armor has been back to Mandalore. We just haven't seen it. If you rewatch episode 1 and episode 2 of season 3, when she's forging Paz Vizsla's son's helmet, she uses the living waters. Huh, interesting. I'm going to have to go back and check you on that one. But if you're right, I mean, that's crazy. You can see the same green glow from the living waters that Din brought her. So the armor has been back to Mandalore or has had Gideon bring her living waters to continue the forge. Huh. Interesting. If you're right about that, that would be wild. I'm gonna have to go look at that and see if you're right, but we'll see. We'll see. Star Wars 2 says Rook Cast is the armor. So I've heard that theory, definitely, of course. It's a big one going around right now. Rook Cast, who is a member of the Mandalorians, in season 7 of the Clone Wars. By the way, I gotta go rewatch season 7 of the Clone Wars. I'm gonna rewatch the entire Clone Wars show before Ahsoka, but season 7 is so good. Those last 4 episodes, peak Star Wars right there. Some of the best Star Wars ever. Maybe not peak, but it's some of the best. Rook Cast is interesting. But here's the thing. She doesn't have the same accent, really. And Rook Cast, I feel like, would be wicked old at this point. Like, really old, no? She'd be about the same age as Bo-Katan, actually. Maybe not. Honey Badger says, again, in all caps, and the armorer told Din Mandalore was poisoned by the bombings to try to persuade him to go there. Din blew her cover. That's why she took in Bo-Katan, even though their clans are enemies. Interesting. Oh, try to persuade him not to go there. Yes, true. Swagger Like Us, what's up? Says, the spy is someone who infiltrates. Hence, the armorer has never volunteered for any mission, quest, etc. Huh. It's atypical of her, so she knows to stay with the covert. Huh. Interesting. That is a astute observation, Swagger Like Us. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So he's saying the definition of a spy is someone who infiltrates. And the armorer has definitely infiltrated that covert for sure. She's the leader at this point. Star Wars 2 says, yes, I heard about that too. I think it's true. Swagger Like Us says, this episode, the armorer joins the party, but inexplicably abandons right before the ambush. Yeah, it's true. She does. She just dips. She joins the fight, and then she's like, okay, I'm out of here because you guys are all about to go die to the Empire in Moff Gideon. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. The armorer is an odd duckling. She's an odd duckling, for sure. Honey Badger, again in all caps, says, I am right. Rewatch the forging episode. The water has a green glow, and when she checks the water Mando brings her, it has the same glow. I believe you. honestly, because you screamed it at me really, really loud, I believe you. I'm still going to go check you. I'm still going to check you. I'm going to check. I'll check right after the stream. I'm going to check. That's when the armor confirms Din is redeemed. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just have to go see if you are right. Somebody else go check on Honey Badger. Hey, maybe he's lost his mind. Star Wars 2 says, she was young in the Siege of Mandalore. Yeah, she could definitely still be alive. And she's probably the same age as Bo, I'd guess. Honey Badger says, Axe and the armor are the only two that weren't there during the ambush. Exactly. That's why I believe that those two are definitely high up on the list and probably the most likely suspects. Now, here's the thing. What if, hear me out, it might blow your mind and it might be like a, no, Mike, what the hell are you talking about? What if, hear me out, Bo-Katan is the spy? Okay? Now you're like, Mike, why the hell would that be the case? Blah, 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 blah. Hear me out. So, what we learned from Bo-Katan in this episode was that she had a sit down, a nice meet and greet with Moff Gideon. And of course, he ends up having the Darksaber after that. I know. Her whole mission is to go get that Darksaber back from Moff Gideon. I know she hates Moff Gideon with a passion. We saw that in Mando Season 2. But hear me out. Give me a sec. Let me explain myself. Okay? And of course, her whole mansion gets blown up in this season. We know she has her differences with the Empire. But hear me out. She has already gone to Moff Gideon, had a meet and greet, sit down, and surrendered to him, giving him the Darksaber. Then all of her fleet leaves her. Everybody just abandons her, and she's just chilling on a throne by herself, right? She's also on a planet right next to Mandalore, right? So, would she not go to Mandalore, her home, and go see what's going on and maybe run into the Empire there and maybe strike a deal with the Empire there and then maybe get really, really, really close with Din Djarin's covert? Like Swagger Like Us says, a spy is somebody who infiltrates. Bo-Katan definitely infiltrated this whole shit. Okay? She's all up in there. She's got the Darksaber now. She knows about the Mythosaur. She's literally ready to lead both of these bitches. Sorry. Respective clans of Mandalorians. I got excited. I'm sorry. She has clearly infiltrated all of this, and everybody is going to follow her. So what if it's all just one big act? This whole Moff Gideon versus Bo-Katan situation here. I know it's crazy, and maybe I'm way off. But what if? What if? And you can't just, I'm sure when I said, oh, what if the spy is Bo-Katan, you guys were like, ha, he's dumb. Oh my God, I'm going to unsubscribe from this guy. But then when I explained it, you were like, hang on one second. What? I don't know. Somebody brought that up to me, and I lost it. I almost lost it. What do you guys think? Honey Badger says, yay, check. I will check. And I want my free poncho when I'm right. You're not getting a free poncho. I'll have to tell you if you get a free poncho for something. And Din Djarin did not die in that last episode. Star Wars 2 says, Bo-Katan is most definitely not the spy. Okay, but now what do you think? Honey Badger says, I would agree Bo is shady. I've said that before this episode. Yes, so Bo-Katan has really just been like the main focus of this entire season, and it seems like Grogu and Din Djarin and all these other characters have just taken a back seat to Bo-Katan this entire season. So what if the gigantic reveal is that Bo-Katan's been the freaking spy and been literally working against Din Djarin this entire time? Can't tell me that wouldn't blow freaking minds. Can't tell me. Honey Badger says, Bo met with Gideon before. She could have done it again. Exactly. Star Wars Stew. I just combined Star Wars stew and swagger like us to Star Wars like stew. Star Wars 2 says, we know that Bo is loyal to Mandalorians. She wouldn't do that because she's mad at Gideon. We know, but wouldn't the armor also be like loyal to Mandalorians and axe wolves too? Like Mandalorians can switch sides real quick. Don't forget, Moff Gideon said at the beginning of this episode, Bo and Din were sworn enemies before this season, and they were. Crazier things have happened. Happened. Star Wars 2 says she's definitely fishy, but not with Gideon. She has real emotion towards her actions with Gideon. True, maybe she's really mad at Gideon, but Gideon maybe struck a deal. I don't know. It might be far off, but it could be true. Honey Badger says, Gideon did say, now give me the Darksaber and tell these people to leave my planet. And Bo did absolutely nothing to help Din, but she saved everyone else. It's true. She could have attempted to help Din Djarin. And she could have... it's interesting. The more and more you think about it, the more and more you're like, Bo's a little bit shady here. She's given a few weird looks throughout this whole entire season. And again, the real focus has been on her this entire season to set up maybe this gigantic, just mind-blowing craziness. I don't know. I think it is very far-fetched, but if it were to happen, it would blow minds. Swagger Like Us says, the armor broke Creed by allowing Bo-Katan to take her mask off, yet wasn't kicked out of the covert. When somebody's being dishonest, they behave out of character. Interesting. The armor allows Bo to remove her helmet, but she does that so that she can go get the other Mandalorians to join them. Now I know they could all be like stubborn and be like, hey, wear your helmet, but they're not going to get anywhere because the other people are going to be like, no, we're not going to wear our helmet. You know? Freak Zeke says, I'm the spy. Hux Sr. Hux's dad's the spy? I doubt it. He's working on Project Necromancer, and I seriously doubt it. Star Wars 2 says, no, she's loyal to Maul. She would have killed him, I'd say. We've known Bo for so long, she won't be evil. It's true. The whole backstory of Bo, knowing that knowing her from Rebels and knowing her from the Clone Wars, she wouldn't do that. Yeah, maybe you have a good point there. But just saying, it would be crazy. It would be crazy. Okay, let's talk about some predictions for next week's episode, okay? Who do we think is going to show up? Now, we talked about this for freaking 7 weeks now. Boba Fett. Do we think Boba Fett will be in this finale? What do we think? What do we think? And I'm going to have a piece of this fantastic turkey jerky, okay? Swagger Like Us says, Star Wars 2 says, maybe Bo will come back to help return the favor. Interesting. But here's the thing. How could Boba be involved in this finale? He's on Tatooine right now. Din is captured on Mandalore, and Din is the only Mandalorian that he really is friends with. We know how Casca Reeves and Bo-Katan feel about Boba Fett, and they don't even know where he is. Din Djarin is the only one who knows where Boba is, and right now, Din Djarin is captured. Interesting. Swagger Like Us says, prediction, yes. Freak Zeke says, the mystery of the armor does arouse suspicion. Yes. So, Honey Badger says, Boba is coming to help Din. How would he know that Din is in trouble, though? The armor will be revealed as evil. Bo will lose the saber somehow. Din will rescue himself because he's just that guy, and he'll save the day. Doubtful. But Boba Fett showing up. How is that possible? How? Grogu tells him somehow. Huh. See, but Grogu doesn't really know Boba either. Because Grogu hangs out with Pelimoto when Din goes to help Boba, doesn't he? Doesn't Grogu hang out with Pelimoto? Star Wars 2, no, I just read that. Honey Badger says the Mando music hits when Thrawn's ship light speeds in. Oh, the Mando music hits when I don't think we're going to see Thrawn. I don't think we're going to see Thrawn in this finale. I just don't think we will. Cuts to black, then credits. I just don't think we will. I think they're saving Thrawn to the Ahsoka show, and he's going to be built up as this big bad. And I feel like it will be way too confusing if all the time jumps are different. If Thrawn shows up at the end of The Mandalorian and then he's not in the galaxy in the Ahsoka show, people will just be confused. I know we won't. We'll understand it. But there's normie fans all over the place that will be like, what? Thrawn was just there at the end of The Mandalorian Season 3. Now 4 months later, you're going to tell me he's not even here? What? Honey Badger follows up and says, he just knows he's Boba. Yeah, no, that's definitely not it. If that's how they explain it, that would be stupid. Boba's like, oh, Din, I missed you. I wanted to give you a call. And Din's like, oh, yeah, I'm trapped on Mandalore. Could you come help me out, buddy? That's definitely not how it's going to happen. A lot of people were actually saying, and it's a good point, and it is easily explained, how could the Shadow Council, or how could Moff Gideon join the Shadow Council meeting if he's on Mandalore? And Din Djarin found out early on in this season that Mandalore, the atmosphere, you can't send out any messages, blah, blah, blah. You can't get anything off the planet. There's a really, really simple answer to that. Din Djarin explains it that, oh, I think the fusion bombs made it so that you can't do anything on this planet. Well, guess what, Din Djarin? You're wrong. And it wasn't the fusion bombs in the atmosphere. It was the Empire, the gigantic Imperial base on Mandalore, jamming your signals. So it's Moff Gideon is allowed to be in that Shadow Council meeting because the Empire's the one jamming the signals. It's not the fusion bombs or whatever they want to call it. It's the Imperial jamming of the signals. So once they get rid of, or if they get rid of the Imperial base on Mandalore, then the signals will clear up again, which is good news for all and stupid, you know. Star Wars 2 says Grogu connects with the Jedi through the Force. To a Jedi through the Force, but I doubt they won't repeat that again. Interesting. Yes, so Grogu is a lot stronger with the Force now. He could definitely, possibly call out to Luke again. Do you think Luke Skywalker will be in this finale? That's the next question. Okay, Boba, boom. We can talk about Boba a little bit more, but will Luke Skywalker show up in the next episode or the finale of this season? Will history repeat itself, and will Luke Skywalker come to save the day yet again? Honestly, not a fan. But what do you guys think? Honey Badger says Grogu knows where Boba lives. Creepy, but yes. Remember, Din told Grogu the most important part of being a Mandalorian is knowing how to explore the galaxy. That would be a great tie back to the beginning of the season, by the way. That would be a great callback. He remembered how to find Bo and can easily fly a ship and go get Boba. Huh. That's a good take right there. That's a great take, and it would tie back to the beginning of the season, what Grogu's learned from Din. That would be good. That would be real good. That'd be good. Swagger Like Us says, like someone else pointed out, Season 3 has been reverse Season 2. Grogu is captured, but Din saves him. Now Din is captured and Grogu will save him, hence the new IG-12 mech suit. I think it's possible Grogu will have a huge part in saving Din Djarin, but I don't think it'll be like the same kind of thing. And I definitely think Din Djarin's going to get the limelight in this finale. I think he's going to be the center of attention throughout this finale and possibly die. Possibly die. Do we think, okay. Luke Skywalker most likely not showing up. Do you think Din Djarin is going to survive this finale? Do you think Din Djarin is going to get axed? Do you think Din Djarin is a goner? Do you think Din Djarin is dead? What do we think? Honey Badger says he will use the IG-12 suit. By the way, love the IG-12 suit, but to fly the ship and go get Boba. Why else would they set up Din telling Grogu that he needs to learn how to explore the galaxy, that being a big part of being a Mandalorian? Yeah, I definitely think that would be a good explanation for it. Swagger Like Us says, Gideon has Praetorian guards and super commandos. Bo has to recruit some heavy hitters. That's very true. So maybe she'll go out and get a good old friend of hers named Ahsoka Tano? Do we think Ahsoka Tano will be in this finale? Here we go. Here we go again. We've covered Boba. We've covered Luke Skywalker. We've covered Din Djarin possibly dying. Well, we'll cover that in a second. But do you think that we'll see Ahsoka Tano in this season finale? Is that one of the people that Bo-Katan's like, holy crap, we are outnumbered. I gotta go call my girl Ahsoka. Is it possible? Is it possible? Honey Badger says, smart tie-ins right there. I should be a writer. You should go be a writer for The Mandalorian because you would really, really help out. Freak Zeke says, the whole march on Mandalore really would not have happened if Paz didn't back Din and Bo in taking on the pirates. R.I.P. Paz Vizsla. R.I.P. Paz Vizsla. That's true. If he didn't back them up in the caves when they Din was like, I'm going to save Greef Karga. Anybody want to help me? And Paz Vizsla was the one who persuaded all of them. Very, very true. Paz Vizsla was a great character, and his end was just as epic as his story. I thought he was a very good character. I thought he was very well written, and he had a perfect ending. Perfect ending. Dying to the Praetorian Guards was great. It was great. And introduced a new threat to Din Djarin and the other Mandalorians, Praetorian Guards. Honey Badger says, no, Din's not dying. No way, 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 no way. Long live the Mandalorian. I don't know. Might be dying in this finale. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I think I have an article about it. He says, I definitely see Ahsoka being in it to come and help Bo and Grogu, and it will set up her own show in August. I do believe that Ahsoka could show up in this finale, and it'd be really cool. It wouldn't be like a copy and paste of Luke showing up. Ahsoka coming in to help would be perfect, and maybe even she brings Sabine Wren along as well. But I don't know. It's possible. It is possible. Swagger Like Us says, will the Mythosaur show up? Okay, here's the next one. Will we see the Mythosaur in this finale? And I think this is a 100%, maybe 99.99999% yes. It's a yes. It's Grogu saying yes, 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 yes. Okay? The Mythosaur has been teased out since episode 2. And if they don't cash in on that cliffhanger from freaking 6 episodes ago, they will be missing out big time. But I don't think Bo will be taming the Mythosaur. I think Grogu will. Now, we know that Grogu is a lot stronger with the Force, but we have yet to really see him do anything cool with it. Taming a Mythosaur would be the coolest freaking thing to ever happen, okay? And Grogu taming the Mythosaur would be epic. We've already seen Grogu be involved in the Mandalorians. In this last episode, he broke up the fight between Axe Woves and Paz Vizsla when Bo and Din couldn't because it would look like they were choosing sides. Grogu is a third party. He's impartial to what goes on, and he could be a leader of the Mandalorians down the line. And him taming the Mythosaur, come on, that would be awesome. But what do you think? Will we actually see the Mythosaur in this finale? And if we do, if we're talking about Ahsoka showing up, maybe Boba Fett showing up, a Mythosaur, you still have Moff Gideon in his armor fighting Praetorian Guards. Like, This finale is going to be bonkers. It's going to be bonkers. It's going to be so good. So good. Star Wars Stu says, Bo saves... he says it in all caps. So hang on one sec. Bo! Wow, did I just break your eardrums? Hang on. Bo saves everyone with the Mythosaur, or maybe she contacts Ahsoka. I think Grogu's going to tame the Mythosaur. I don't think it's going to be Bo. Maybe Bo rides it after Grogu tames it. But, yeah, maybe. Honey Badger says, if Din dies, I'm done with Star Wars, and I'm not watching the Ahsoka show. Hashtag justice for Din. Well, that's stupid. No offense, but that's really, really, really dumb. Din Djarin is a good character, sure. But honestly, his character arc ended in season 2. His whole goal and his whole thing was he was a bounty hunter who came across a child. He had some character development, grew attached to the child, and brought that child back to its kind, the Jedi. Then his new mission has become to teach Grogu how to become a Mandalorian and become the leader of the Mandalorians. And he's kind of already done that. Like, of course, he hasn't trained Grogu all that much, but I would not be all that surprised if Din Djarin dies in this next episode. And honestly, if they do it correctly, if they do it along the lines, of course, but way bigger than what they did with Paz Vizsla, I would not be opposed to it. Because if they can't figure out this whole thing with Pedro Pascal, honestly, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, really? Swagger Like Us says, Honey Badger, I would be surprised if John and Dave didn't pay off that episode 2 thread. Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely bringing back the Mythosaur. Hands down. Star Wars 2 says, Din won't die yet. They have more seasons and Grogu will be a baby for too long. I mean, it's definitely possible he doesn't die, and I would prefer that he doesn't die. I really would. And I really hope he at least lasts until the Mando movie, at least, and maybe he dies in that. But yeah, I don't know. We will see. Star Wars 2 follows up and says, Grogu taming the Mythosaur is a shout. Is it shout? Very good prediction. Thank you. Why, thank you. Came up with it right in my own little brain. Derpy Entertainment, what is up, my guy? He says, best episode of this season. Yeah, hands down. Best episode of the season. One of the best. Top 5 at least of the entire series as a whole. Honey Badger says, they set up the armor good. I just so happened to catch it. The armor has had living waters. She has been working with Gideon met him and his army. Made him his army in his Beskar suits. Oh, that would be cool. Honey Badger says, no, Mike. Din brought me back to Star Wars. Wow, he is the Mandalorian. If Din dies, so does my love for Star Wars. Wow, I loved Anakin and he turned into Vader. Let me have Din Djarin. Well, what if Din Djarin turns evil? What if Din Djarin is the spy? Couldn't even say that one with a straight face. I'm the spy. Okay. I only give Din permission to die in his own movie. That's probably what's going to happen, honestly. Freak Zeke says, as much as I like Grogu, I think he should have not come back, or at least it was too soon. I do believe that they brought him back a little too soon. Maybe if he trained with Luke for like 5 to 10 years and then came back like in the Mando movie, how cool would that have been? But honestly, I think Disney saw the lines in the sand and said, look, if Grogu's not in this 3rd season, are people even going to come watch it? And honestly, I would. Grogu's kind of just been doing nothing off on the side this whole entire season. So, yeah, I don't know. Would you have been upset if Grogu wasn't in this season? Let's put it that way. Star Wars 2 said he was trained for at least 3 years. No, so Jon Favreau said 2 years, and then he kind of walked back on it. He said somewhere between somewhere between 0 and 2 years. He said something along those lines. It was dumb. It was stupid. It was stupid. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was stupid. It was stupid. It was dumb. Swagger Like Us says, it was tough to see Paz go. I wanted him to cameo in the Mandoverse film. Yeah, it was a heartbreaking scene. All right, here's the thing. I posted on my Instagram today a video of Tech dying, and I said, still feeling this one. Whose death was more sad, Paz Vizsla's or Tech's from the Bad Batch finale? What do we think? Oh yeah, by the way, smash a like on this video for Paz Vizsla, R.I.P. Smash a like in tribute to Paz Vizsla. And of course, then hit the subscribe and the bell so you get notified every time I post a video, of course. And then while you're at it, if you click the description, you'll see a link there to a Discord. Go join that Discord. It's called The People Who Love Star Wars. A bunch of the people in here, Star Wars too. Honey Badger, I know a bunch of you guys are already in that Discord. Go join the Discord. We have a lot of fun in there. I mean, we talked about this episode for the last 48 hours, but yeah. Yes, Evil Spy didn't. Yeah, let's go. Good cups follow orders. The great cups follow orders. Freak Zeke says, 3 years is a long time for a character, but to the audience, Grogu came back quick. No, I agree that Grogu wasn't really rushed. He was definitely with Luke for a long period of time, but it hasn't really shown. I wish Grogu would use the Force a lot more and more meaningfully. Just because, like, we saw him tame the Rancor in the Book of Boba Fett, and we've seen him just spin in his chair using the Force. That's pretty much it. He doesn't use the Force all that much in this season, and I wish he would. I wish they would prove that he really trained with Luke that entire time. You know? Swagger Like Us says, speaking of Grogu, remember Ahsoka said many masters trained him in season 2, the Jedi. Yeah, well, he was at the Jedi Temple, so probably many masters trained him. But yeah, I wonder if Ahsoka saw, like, Ahmed Best's character, Killer and Beck. I wonder if Ahsoka saw him and how he escaped the Jedi Temple. I wonder if Ahsoka's just been hiding all this from us the entire time. Star Wars 2 says, Paz Vizsla because Tech is not dead. That is possible. Tech could still be alive. That is true. And Paz Vizsla is most definitely dead. I mean, if they bring him back, what is the point anymore of killing anybody? Because they could just all come back. Yeah, no, Paz Vizsla's definitely dead. Star Wars 2 says, can we get up to 10 viewers potentially? Maybe. We had that crazy stream the other day where we got to 16, which is still the record to this day. But hopefully we'll zoom past that someday. As long as I got you guys here talking, I don't give two flying rat's asses how many people are here talking. I just want to have fun talking about Star Wars. The more the merrier. Honey Badger says, we got 16 last week. Yeah, it was great. Share the live stream. This is the way. Yeah, go tell your brother, your sister, your mother, your dog, your grandma, your cousin's dog's brother's mother, dad's aunt. This is the way. Gonna have another piece of turkey jerky, and then we're gonna get into some articles here. Okay. Star Wars 2 says, I like smaller creators because you can actually talk to them. Hey, I will always talk to you guys. Even if we have 6 billion people on this stream, which I really, really hope we get to that. I mean, just a little modest number I'm throwing out there. 6 billion. It's kind of a goal of mine. That's only what, like almost the entire population of the world watching my stream all at once. 6 billion people. I will answer every individual chat. I promise. Here's the thing though. We had a stream a few weeks ago where, and I know I'm just eating in front of you guys, but I'm hungry, where we had a shit ton of people talking like all the time. I think it was well over 400 chats in the chat, like total. And I had trouble keeping up, but I've gotten a lot better at filtering out when you guys are talking to each other and when you're talking to me. So I've gotten a lot better at that, and I will always try to read you guys' message as much as I can, because hopefully someday we'll get to the point where the channel's monetized and we'll have super chats and you guys can send in those if you would like, of course, but we'll have memberships and you guys can become members and members chats and all that stuff. And of course, those things will get read 100%. But I always want to be a creator that's looking in the chat and talking to you guys specifically, because I know not everybody has money or wants to even send money to me. Who the hell would want to send money to me? Like, I'm just sitting here talking about Star Wars. Like, what? But with that being said, I will always try to read you guys' chats. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Honey Badger says, that's why I'm here. Theory and Josh, eat your hearts out. Hashtag Mike's the best. Hashtag Mike is the best, okay? As I just eat in front of you guys. Like, why are you guys even watching this? I'm just eating at this point. Like, we're not even talking about Star Wars. I'm just eating food. All right, let's actually get into some of these articles before you all leave. Okay. So, where is this Dave Filoni 2026 thing? So Dave Filoni's movie might be coming a lot sooner than we think. So we know that the Daisy Ridley, Rey, new Jedi Order movie is going to be 2025, around December. But did you know that Dave Filoni's movie is going to just be the year after that, 2026? Here we go. Dave Filoni's Mando movie targets a 2026 release date. Yes. Still, can't believe this is happening. Hollywood Reporter claims that Lucasfilm would like Dave Filoni's Mandoverse Star Wars movie to be released in 2026. But there still is a December 2025 date to be kept open for an unspecific Star Wars movie. Well, now we know that that is the Daisy Ridley as Rey movie, which in theory could be one of these titles. A source tells Hollywood Reporter that Lucasfilm would ideally like to return to the theaters with the Rey-focused film and follow that a year later with the Filoni movie, although nothing is set due to the timetables of Disney Plus Mandalorian the universe shows. So obviously, rumor, but it is possible that this movie could come out in 2026, which is wild. It's kind of crazy. I want to know what you guys think about that. 2026. So it's going to be year after year, Star Wars movie, one movie a year. And that could go for a long time, because maybe, just maybe, the Dawn of the Jedi movie could come out the year after that. And then maybe we'll just have a Star Wars movie for the rest of time every year, which would be fucking amazing, honestly. Sorry, that was 2 F-bombs already, and we're only an hour in, and it's a family show. Sorry. Where was I? Okay. Honey Badger says, it's okay, I'm eating ramen and watching So Fair. Yeah, if you get to eat and watch, I get to eat and talk, okay? Star Wars 2 says, Gideon's armor was so cool. It was so freaking cool. Jeffrey, what is up? Jeffrey Snow says, hey guys, good night. How are y'all doing? I'm doing great, Jeffrey. How are you? Honey Badger says, Gideon's Mandalorian armor. Yeah, true. Star Wars 2 says, I'm actually excited to see where this Rey movie goes. Okay, there's the next question. Are we excited for the Rey movie? I'm going to pull it up. I pulled it up on the channel. Actually, let's go see where I'm going to pull it up here first. Let's pull it up. Hang on. Poll time. We haven't done a poll in like streams. You guys keep forgetting to tell me to do polls. Are you going to watch the Rey movie? Yes or no? You tell me. And then let's go pull up the channel and see where that community tab lies. Your channel, my channel, your channel, my channel, your channel. Okay, let's see. So we got 2 polls up here. Let's look at both of them. So the first one is in all caps. Did you see that Ahsoka trailer? And I said, and the answers were yes, holy crap, yes, it was amazing. Yes, it's all right. No, I don't care. And I live under a rock, which 9% of you live under a rock. So obviously a small portion size of the fandom, only 70 votes, but that's why we're here. And most people, 70% of you guys, are holy crap, that was amazing, which is great. And the good news is only 4% of us says no, I don't care, which is great. It is great. But here's the other one, and here's the more important one, and what we're talking about right now. Are you excited for the Rey new Jedi Order movie? Now, here's the thing. 53% of people, and again, 83 votes, said no. And it's interesting, because when you look at the comment section, I mean, this is Star Wars. This is the Star Wars fandom just summed up right here. Brandon Altman, familiar face. He's not, I don't think he's here tonight, but Brandon, shout out to Brandon. Let's face it, these movies were made under the KK era with several rounds of writer turnovers and reshoots that's watered it all down. I hope that Dave will lead the future in the right direction and hopefully a good set of writers and directors all on the same page for a proper story planned out. Brandon always with the greatly worded answers. Brandon, of course. Shout out to Brandon. If you watch this on the replay, tell me in the comments. Great news. And then, of course, we got some other people. Blake Winfrey, of course, who we've seen in the live streams as well. I don't think he's here tonight either. No way. Don't kill off Luke because he had Force constipation. Okay. Constipation. I don't think I read this, actually. I replied to him. I just forgot. And then hand it off to a character who didn't earn it. So he's, of course, not going to watch it, and he's upset about it. Then you have Supreme Ren, who, of course, is a regular on the channel. He says, yes, of course, he's a big sequel guy. And then somebody else says, I'm shocked that the poll is about 50-50. The Last Jedi was the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, right there. There's literally only 4 captions on this post, but they're all just like ridiculously in different directions than the other. The fandom is at a complete just disarray where everybody has their own opinion and everybody's opinion is different than the last. And it's crazy when you look on my Instagram channel and on the YouTube channel and all the different people with just like, I'll post something like, should the Mandalorian be connected to the sequel trilogy? And one comment will say, yes, why not? It could only make it better. And the next comment will say, what the hell's wrong with you? This should never happen. The sequels aren't canon. I'm unsubscribing to this channel. Like some crazy stuff. It's wild. It's absolutely bonkers that like, it goes just in all different directions. It's crazy. But the Rey movie is very, very interesting because I feel like people who are really excited, possible sequel fans, are going to go watch it, of course. But the people who are hating on Star Wars are also going to go watch it to have something to hate about. So it's going to make a shit ton of money, that's for sure. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, and I'd love to see what you guys think. Okay. Let's see. Holy crap, I missed a ton of chats. Jesus, what? I just turned off the screen for 2 seconds. What are you? Okay, here we go. Honey Badger says, oh, hang on. Whoa, hey, what? Okay, here we go. Honey Badger says, me too. Rey movie needs Finn, Poe, and Ben, and I'll be there. Freak Zeke says, Rey's return with potential of seeing Force Ghost Ben Solo. It's also possible that they could bring back Ben Solo in the flesh, but who knows? Star Wars 2 says, do you guys think John Boyega will return? Interesting. John Boyega clearly got treated like crap in the sequel trilogy. We know this. And he has spoken publicly a little bit about his troubles on set and stuff like that. But would he return? I think if you gave him the right story and said, look, John, we did something for you. We made you a Jedi or something along those lines. And we're going to pay you millions of dollars. He might say yes. I mean, maybe he'll still say no out of like hatred for the company, but who knows? Maybe. Honey Badger says, here's my thoughts. Rey movie, A, won't come out and KK gets fired. B, it does come out and sucks, and I strongly believe Dave's movie won't come out until 2027. Those are the only two options. Where's C? Where's C? It's going to be amazing. Where's C? They've learned their lesson, and this movie's going to rock. Literally just saying that like it sounded wrong. It's all about the villain. And right now, we don't know about any villain. Is Palpatine going to return? Is it going to be the Yuzon Vong? Is it going to be the Grisk? Is it going to be somebody huge like Plagueis returns or something crazy? It's all about the villain. It's really all about the villain. We'll see. Freak Zeke says, use Mando swears like Dang Ferric and Carabast. That's a Zeb oldie. Star Wars 2 says, I've heard that I might do that now. Freak Zeke, by the way, I might do it. Star Wars 2, I don't know why my nose is so itchy tonight, but it's really freaking bothering me. It's just like I'm dying. Star Wars 2 says, I heard they want to bring back Ben too, and I don't know why they killed them off. Kylo was the best character by far. I agree. It was just really dumb, and it could have been so easily just taken out of the end of that movie. Just don't kill Ben. He saves Rey, brings her back to life, and boom, they're both alive. Happy ending. No. Let's make Ben disappear. Magic. Crazy. Jeffrey says, it's all over the place a little to reminiscent too close to Book of Boba Fett. The writing was a letdown. I have no idea what you're talking about. Is letting them down. The Mandalorian season 3? Maybe, Jeffrey? Is that what you're talking about? Could Grogu be in the movie? That's also another interesting question. So here's the thing. If Grogu's in that movie, of course, it means he survives the Mando movie. And a lot of people are like, well, yeah, obviously he survives. He's going to be around for the next 900 years. Well, it's not obvious. Grogu could die at any moment, just like any other character. He could die whenever he wants. He doesn't have to live 900 years. He doesn't have to do what Yoda did. Maybe. I do believe that it would be smarter to have Grogu in the movie, just to, like, please fans. And I know, like, don't do fan servicey stuff, but it would make sense. If there's going to be a new Jedi Order, Grogu has to be around it. Plus, and Star Wars 2 follows up and says an older Grogu. Of course, it would be an older Grogu. He would be about 100 years old. And that's the time that Yoda started training Jedi as well. It's interesting. Jeffrey Snow says, I didn't see the Ahsoka trailer. What? Nothing that John and Dave is going to play a part in. I'm done with them. Huh. I hate them. Wait, what? I hate them. They should retire. Jeffrey, where is this hostility coming from? John and Dave? You didn't watch the Ahsoka trailer? Jeffrey, why? Is it because they haven't brought your boy Boba Fett into the season yet, Jeffrey? Is that it? Because I think he's coming in the finale, Jeffrey. I think you will be pleasantly surprised to see your boy Boba in the finale, okay? So let's just settle down there, and let's definitely not get John and Dave fired. The last thing we want to do, Jeffrey. The last thing we want to do. Freak Zeke says, Mando, Andor, and Rogue One were made under the Kathleen Kennedy era. That's very true. So when people say it's all Kathleen's fault and stuff like that, sure, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. But they can't say all Disney Star Wars is bad. You can't say that. You literally can't say that and think that you're telling the truth. Unless it's your opinion and you think that The Mandalorian's garbage. First of all, go check into an insane asylum. But second of all, it's your opinion. And sure. But they have made great projects. The Mandalorian, Rebels, Rogue One. Like, there's some good Star Wars content out there that's made by Disney. So you can't really blame it all on the KK era. You can blame it on KK for doing stupid stuff along the lines, but it's not like we're in the deep abyss. We're not getting just straight garbage Star Wars content all the time. This last Mando episode was fantastic. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Swagger Like Us says, I just don't like how how they announced the Rey film, but don't have a script or any passion, etc. The Mandoverse film is different because John and Dave wanted their stories to culminate from the start. Yeah, so the John and Dave movie, or the Dave Filoni movie, obviously has all this Disney Plus shows leading up to it, so it has a bunch of hype around it. But yeah, like you said, they announced the Rey movie without even having a script yet, without it being ready, all that stuff. It's kind of crazy. So maybe it'll all come together and be a really, really good story, but they have to have a good villain, they have to have a good story arc, they have to have good new characters. Is John Boyega coming back? Is Adam Driver coming back? All these questions need to be answered, and obviously we're going to have to wait for a long time to even get those answers. But hopefully it starts filming by the end of this year, and we will get those answers to those questions with leaked images and stuff like that, and of course a trailer, and maybe a year from now. Probably even longer than that, but you know. Honey Badger says Dave is making the Ahsoka show. John is most likely not involved. But what? Dave is George's apprentice. Dave is Star Wars. Very true. He follows up and says, "Not everything has been bad. It just certainly shows." It's just certainly shows like Kenobi and Andor. Andor fans, don't come for me. Andor fans, attack Honey Badger like right now, immediately. Get him. You have my blessing. Go get him. Star Wars 2 says, I mean, George said it in an interview. If someone makes their own episode 7, it's not his story, or doesn't count it as a real episode 7. Here's the thing. There's a lot. I just bit my tongue. There's a lot of George followers out there, and if that were the case for me, obviously I would not be called a guy who loves Star Wars. I would be called a guy who loves George Lucas. And of course, he's the creator. He created episode 1 through 6 and the Clone Wars. He is the guy. I mean, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for George Lucas. He is one of the greatest directors of all time, one of the greatest minds of all time. To come up with the whole entire universe like this is crazy. All praise George Lucas. But there's people out there that are like, everything after George Lucas doesn't exist. It's not canon to me, and you can feel this way if you'd like. But don't you want to enjoy Star Wars? Don't you want to have fun like you're a kid again? Don't you want to enjoy the new characters? Like, you're telling me Cal Kestis sits right above my shoulder over here as a pop figure. You're telling me that you won't play Fallen Order or Survivor just because George didn't create it? You're telling me you're not going to watch The Mandalorian Season 2, which is unbelievably good on all accounts. Ahsoka, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Luke Skywalker. You're going to tell me you're not going to watch that just because George didn't create it? It's not. I don't get it. I don't get it. Jeffrey Snow says, I ain't joking, bro. I'm done with both of them. Like how I'm done with Robert Rodriguez. Their writing is too much crap, and I can't take it. And now a Rey movie? Oh, geez, Jeffrey, tell us how you really feel, my man. Star Wars 2 says, the Force healing, such a plot hole. Force healing, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like, can anybody die now? Like, the new line in the next sequel trilogy is going to be, they die now? They die now. They die now. Because, like, people just can't die anymore in Star Wars. If there's Force healing, if Rey's around, boom, you're saved. I don't know. It's a little weird. Star Wars 2 says, he won't though. Disney want to make money off of Grogu. It's true. Grogu won't die. And I know exactly what you're referring to when I said Grogu could die at any moment. He won't die because they want to make money. But here's the thing. Grogu's going to have to eventually die. Maybe if it's 2055. That sounds like such a fake year. But it's like 30 years away. He could die. It's weird. We shall see. Swagger Like Us says, I like Daisy Ridley a lot, but I wish Disney and KK would just have a great story for her character first. I know. It seems like they're still just mashing this thing together at the last minute, and it doesn't have a good feeling behind it as of right now. Maybe, just maybe, we know that Dave Filoni has been in the writer's room for this movie since about a year ago, so maybe there's something already in the works, and there is a good story already written, and maybe Stephen Knight is just the guy who's writing the script for it, which would be great. Maybe the story's already there, the story's already great. Great. Maybe that's the case, and that would be fantastic. But I don't know. It's possible that it is not the case. It's possible. Star Wars 2 says J.J. Abrams shouldn't have touched Star Wars. Why didn't they get Dave? And why did George never work with them at all? So here's the thing. I'll answer the second half of that question first. Why didn't they work with George at all? George sold the company because he didn't want to work on Star Wars anymore. He was getting older. He didn't want to do another trilogy, all that stuff. But if they were to ask him, I'm sure he would have been like, yeah, sure, I'll come hang out on the set. I'll come give you some pointers, this, that, and the other thing. But they didn't. They just neglected George. They were like, nah, go away. Nah, go away. He literally gave them his idea for the sequel trilogy and said, why not use this? And they were like, go away. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't consult George in all this. It's dumb. But yes, J.J. Abrams should have never worked on Star Wars. The Force Awakens wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty good. But it should have been Dave. But at that point as well, Dave had never worked in live action. He talks about it all the time. Like, I needed to be worked into live action, and now I can finally believe that I can make an actual movie. So yeah, maybe Dave needed to be worked on a little more. Maybe. Jeffrey Snow says, my take is not that Boba isn't around. Where the writing at? The writing is my only problem with this season. I just can't see this. I can't seem to piece things together because every episode is here and there, and Din is thrown into the backseat for Bo. She had her chance to lead already. My God, give someone else. Paz, a legend forever in my eyes, a true Mandalorian. R.I.P. Paz. You will be avenged. Okay, a lot to unpack there. The writing has definitely been a little off in this season, but there still has been some fantastic episodes like this last one, episode 5, episode 2, episode 1 was even really, really good. I get people think that season 3 is just this crap fest. It's not. But, you know, whatever. Sorry, I made myself laugh. Honey Badger says, still wild to hate on John and Dave. Dave is George's apprentice and literally carries out the vision of his own spinoff with his own spinoff on it. Yeah, don't listen to Jeffrey. He's losing his mind tonight. Boba Fett and Kenobi are better than and Snore. Hashtag Andor sucks. Haven't even seen it. Honey Badger, you are asking for it tonight. There are some crazy Andor fans out there because the next chat says Star Wars 2 says Andor was good, but too much episodes. Honey Badger says hot take. Cal and Din have saved Star Wars. Sue me. You're not wrong. For a lot of people, I mean, like you said, The Mandalorian brought you back into Star Wars after the craziness of The Last Jedi. And that's the case for a lot of people. And video game people absolutely love Cal Kestis and, of course, Jedi Fallen Order, and can't wait for the sequel that comes out in a few short weeks. So yeah, you're not far off at all, for sure. Star Wars 2 says, I do enjoy Star Wars and Disney, not the sequels, and there's so much potential in the sequels, but they ruined it. Yeah, the sequels were just a gigantic, one big fiery letdown. That's what they are. Freak Zeke says, been wanting post Return of the Jedi content, but honestly, I was expected it to be 100 years or so distant, 100 or so years distance from the sequel characters. Yeah, I think that's what we all expected. To go 15 years into the future after Rise, when Daisy Ridley's not even 15 years older, kind of makes no sense at all. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. Star Wars 2 says, I think if someone brings someone back from the dead, they'll die. It's possible if like Rey saves somebody, then she will die. That is possible. That is possible. But any like wound, like she stabbed Kylo Ren, and then she was like, Uno reverse, you're good. Like what? Okay. Honey Badger says Grogu will be 100 in Rey's movie, maybe 115 years old. Grogu will be around until our kids have kids. I hope so. Ryan ruined the sequels. JJ gave us episode 7. Besides Han dying, which I actually liked, it was a great movie. Ryan screwed up episode 1 through 7, and JJ tried to fix episode 8 with episode 9. Give JJ a break. Yeah, you got to give JJ a break. I mean, what he did in The Force Awakens was not bad. And what he had to do in Rise of Skywalker was the best he could do with what happened in The Last Jedi. Yeah, Ryan is the problem. For sure. And that's why the greatest news of Star Wars Celebration was that Rian Johnson's trilogy is not happening. It was the greatest news that we could have received. It is true. Honey Badger says, "Bring it on, Andor fans." Some Andor fans give Honey Badger a hard time, please. All right. So here is a new Ahsoka news. So let's talk about some Ahsoka news. Let's talk about the Ahsoka show. Some hype. Disney Plus's Ahsoka has just cast another new villain alongside of Thrawn. Dun dun dun. So not only is there going to be Balin and Shin and whoever else, Morgan Elsbeth and Thrawn, there's going to be even another bad guy. So this guy right here, handsome fellow. Scroll right past him. According to Deadline, actor Wes Chatham. I'm calling him Chatham. Joined the cast of Disney Plus's Ahsoka as the right-hand man to Lars Mikkelsen, Grand Admiral Thrawn. So he will be the right-hand man to Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he might just be a Sith Lord. Here we go. Wes Chatham. That's his name. Chatham. I mean, should I just call him like something really stupid? Mr. Wesley previously appeared in both installments of The Hunger Games, Mockingjay, The Expanse, and Christopher Nolan's Tenet. I've seen Hunger Games, but I still have yet to watch Tenet. The actor joins Ahsoka's arsenal of villains that already includes Thrawn, Morgan Elsbeth, and they come along with 2 new lightsaber-wielding Balin and Shin, who will work with Thrawn and Elsbeth, and presumably Mr. Wesley's character. Okay? Warning, the rest of this article contains spoilers for Episode 7 of The Mandalorian. By the way, this stream is going to spoil the Episode 7 of The Mandalorian. Just a quick shout out there. This stream might spoil that episode for you guys. Okay. The news of Thrawn's right-hand man casting comes from the latest episode of The Mandalorian. Briefly featuring actor Xander Bertley as Gilad Pelion. I don't know why it's always so hard for me to. I know how to say his name. It just takes me a second. A Legends character who has long served as his right hand man to the Blue villain. Grand Admiral Thrawn's huge influence emerges. So, Thrawn's presence in the Star Wars galaxy has been rapidly growing recently after years of radio silence since he was name dropped in The Mandalorian Season 2. After a meeting with Moff Gideon and other Imperial leaders, making it clear that despite his current absence, Thrawn is still at the top of the apparent heir to the Empire. So, the conversation even saw his Legends right-hand man, Pelion, promising, I should just start coming up with random names, promising Grand Admiral Thrawn's return will herald in a reemergence of their military. All right, let's get to this new guy. Oh, what? They don't even talk about him? Okay, well, here we go. Yeah. Although Pelion may not end up being the right hand to Thrawn and Ahsoka, with that role instead going to Mr. Wesley, mysterious character, he does appear to have some loyalty to the Chiss villain. One can only wonder if he too will then end up making his return to the Jedi-centric Disney Plus spin-off as another aide to Thrawn. So he could possibly, Pelion, whatever his name is, could also be in the Ahsoka show as well. So let's talk about this Mr. Wesley, okay? Let's talk about Mr. Wesley. This guy right here. So he's rumored to be wielding a red lightsaber and have a mask on, like a golden mask. So it's going to be kind of crazy, okay? Kind of crazy what this guy could lead to. He could actually like be a Sith Lord, like an actual Sith Lord, which would be kind of crazy. And maybe he becomes the new villain. Maybe the Ahsoka show actually sets up a villain for the Rey movie. Maybe Dave Filoni is setting up the future Star Wars with a villain that's in the new Beyond. It's possible. It's possible. What do we think about this new Mr. Wesley character? What do we think? Freak Zeke says, I actually loved The Last Jedi. Get him out. Get him out of here. Just kidding. Of course, you can have that opinion, but that opinion is garbage. Just kidding. The Last Jedi. What can I say that's nice about The Last Jedi? Salt. Yeah. The Last Jedi was just... I'm at a loss for words, okay? Honey Badger says, Team Mando versus Team Andor. Okay. Star Wars 2 says, Cassian Andor better than Din. Yeah, shut up. You're a liar. You're a liar. Honey Badger says, Rey literally does the opposite of Luke. She struck down Palpatine. Now, if his soul doesn't enter her body and she isn't evil in the next movie, then what the hell was the point of any of that in The Rise of Skywalker? Luke died because he force projected? Like what? Luke threw his and his father's saber away. Disregarded the Jedi and Force altogether. # not my Luke Skywalker. Okay, wow. Let's unpack that for a second. Whew. Yes. Okay. Star Wars 2 says, you don't think so? Because she killed him and his own Force lightning and all the Jedi. What? That's not even English. I think I know what you mean. You don't think so because she killed him, his own Force lightning, and all the Jedi. I don't know. Freak Seek says, well, she did become Avatar to the past Jedi, so the transfer definitely wouldn't have happened. Huh. Interesting. It'll be quite interesting to see if there's any dark side Rey going on in there. Honey Badger says, that is still killing Palpatine. How is this the conversation that's going on? We were talking about this new character in Ahsoka. Just kidding. Okay. She's literally the daughter of a clone of Palpatine, and she can use Force lightning. If they don't fix that and take away the Skywalker as her last name, I will riot. Yep. He's making great points here. Star Wars 2 says, Luke was supposed to be what Anakin couldn't, next to a Force god, and he dies as an old hermit from the Force projection. # not my Luke Skywalker. Hold on. How did this stream just become crap on the sequels? I don't know, but I'm kind of digging it. You guys are making some great points. Kyle chimes in and says, that would be crazy. Finally, somebody talking about my news, okay? God dang. Okay. He says, that's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's what I'm saying as well. Rey's red lightsaber and a gold mask is drippy as fuck. Not gonna lie. Exactly. Exactly. Honey Badger says, thank you. Star Wars 2 says, we're finished with the Skywalker trilogy. We are due for a new Sith Lord. Should have been Snoke, but episode 7. Yeah. Don't even talk about Snoke dying and just being Palpatine the entire time. We won't even talk about that. Star Wars 2 says, can you not read what that is English? I can't read Star Wars 2, I'm sorry. Freak Zeke says, I think that if Luke didn't die in The Last Jedi, then maybe fans would have given it the movie less criticism. Okay, here's the thing. Luke dying in The Last Jedi was literally the cherry on top. Luke was an old hermit on an island. Killing him off was like setting him free from that torture that is Rian Johnson. Not to crap all over the sequel trilogy, and not to crap on The Last Jedi in general. I know a lot of people like The Last Jedi, but how can you do that to a character like Luke Skywalker? It's like impossible. It's completely different characters. Completely different characters. Kyle says, you can read very well. Don't attack him, Stu. Thank you. But I really suck at reading. I mean, I'm really bad. Swagger Like Us says, love how the Ahsoka series has fan favorite characters, but the plethora of new villains and characters to discover. Exactly. The Ahsoka show is doing it perfectly. It's got characters like Ahsoka, Harrison Dula, Sabine, all the Rebels cast that people know and love already. And then they've already added new characters like Baylan, Shin, this new Mr. Wesley character. Like, great new characters that look like they're going to be awesome because Dave Filoni's in charge and it's going to be epic. Why can't we have good both old characters and new characters? I think I'm losing my mind now. Honey Badger says, because The Last Jedi sucks and we're passionate Star Wars fans. Okay, now on to Ahsoka. Okay, finally. We can move past that. Star Wars 2 says, hopefully we get a new Sith soon, and the Sith will live on and get a lot stronger than the Empire. Here's the thing. The Sith, of course, are gone. Palpatine was struck down in Rise of Skywalker, and they are all gone. But there has to be some sort of dark side in this next movie, or it's just going to be a whole lot of hoopla. If there's no actual bad guy or conflict in this Rey movie, people will riot, and people are already going to riot, even if it's a good movie. It's wild. It's wild. They need a new Sith, and it needs to be a good one, and they need it real fast. What if there was like a whole order of Sith in the New Beyond? Like thousands of them. Thousands. Like the Jedi Order in the prequel trilogy. Like that many Sith in the New Beyond. And then the conflict in this movie is those Sith decide they want to go conquer the Star Wars galaxy. Would we be opposed to that? Would we be opposed to that? As I eat some more jerky. Star Wars 2 says, the sequels turned me to the dark side. They reused Palpatine. I hate the sequels. Hate is a strong word. But yes. Honey Badger says, you have a point. Mike, who the hell will Rey and her new Jedi Order fight? Palpatine again? That made me laugh, sorry. Palpatine again? No. Rey will turn on her own order. That will be wild. Hashtag Rey Palpatine, not Skywalker. It would be wild if she kind of had like a dark side path in this movie. It would be good. I don't know. Swagger Like Us says, I love that concept, Mike. It would be great if there was already established Sith Lords in the New Beyond that we get introduced to in the Ahsoka show and maybe the Skeleton Crew show and maybe some other projects here and there. And then this is the bad guy that comes, or bad guys and gals that come into the galaxy that want to take over or something like that. It could be like the Yuuzhan Vong invasion, but Sith Lords. Like how wild would that be? You build up Rey's new Jedi Order. It's been 15 years. She's got a bunch of Padawans. They're all like 20 or something along those lines. She has a mini army, and then they all just get slaughtered by this gigantic army of Sith that come into the galaxy. Be wild. Star Wars 2 says, Rey turns evil. Grogu, new chosen one. We're officially getting dark side. We officially get dark Rey. I wish we got dark side Rey, and I hope we still could. And of course, Grogu is definitely the new chosen one, hands down. Is the new chosen one, born the same year as Anakin, so he technically always was the chosen one. Freak Zeke says, Legends reused Palpatine too. No, I'm not so upset that they brought back Palpatine in Rise of Skywalker. I'm more upset that they didn't have a plan from the beginning. if Palpatine was actually pulling the strings the entire time and it was a set plan and like they knew about it the entire time and Ian McDermott was like, I'm back and I knew I was coming back the entire time, so guess what? I'm the best ever. Like, that would be different. If it was actually planned out and there was actually a plan going on, it could have been a lot different. And Palpatine coming back would not have been the worst thing ever. Kyle says, I would definitely not be opposed. Of course you wouldn't, because you're the best. Okay. Honey Badger says, that's what I've been saying. Rey will turn. Grogu will need Finn and Poe to resurrect Ben in the world between worlds. Grogu versus Rey, Palpatine. Now that would be a movie I would go watch multiple times. Star Wars 2 says, again, what's up with all the caps today? Okay, here we go. That would be perfect. Make Star Wars interesting again. And they will explain it from her killing Palpatine. What you guys are saying sounds great. But I know for a fact that this is not what's going to happen in the movie. And it's going to be disappointing, honestly. Unless they come up with something great. Honey Badger says, right? Grogu was trained by Luke. Grogu was Luke's first trained Padawan. Have Luke strike down the last Palpatine. All hail Grogu Jaren. Yes. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I would not be opposed to it. A lot of people think maybe, and I know there was that fake picture that people lost their minds about, that Rey was pregnant, but maybe Rey actually does have twins and they become evil. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Maybe. And maybe the evil kids kill Rey. And then Grogu has to kill the evil kids. I don't know. And they'll actually be Palpatine's grandchildren. Because Rey's not. She's the daughter of a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone of a clone. You know? Hour 40 minutes. Holy crap. If Rey has twins and becomes evil, I'll go crazy. What a plot. Plot twist. Yes, Kyle, exactly. Oh, before we go, and I know we didn't really cover all the things I wanted to today because the stream is coming to an end very shortly here. We have to talk about this because I forgot on Tuesday. Here we go. Hang on. Everybody remain calm. Do. Hang on. One second. Going as fast as I can. Where is this thing? What the heck? Where is it? What the heck? Why is this not like... Hang on. Come on. Oh, there we go. Found it. I'm hanging on, and I will not remain calm. Okay, well, you're going to have to hang on because I'm going to read this chat. Star Wars 2 says, Star Wars has always repeats. Star Wars Jedi peace, Sith Empire. Jedi peace, Sith Empire. Corrupt Jedi Order, Sith Empire. Jedi peace, First Order. Jedi peace. Very true. Okay, now, for what you've all been waiting for. I know many of you know this, and I've told you before, but I'm going to remind you until it comes out, which is in 2 weeks-ish, maybe something like that. In 2 weeks, we are getting Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, but we are also getting the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi is coming to theaters on April 28th. So I need all of you here to go watch this movie. It's only out for a week, from April 28th to May 4th. I need all of you to go watch this movie 10,000 times, okay? If we all do that, right, it'll make us a lot of money, right? And we'll tell Disney, look, this was good. George made a masterpiece here, okay? So let's try to continue that kind of stuff, okay? Let's try and do that, okay? Yeah, Star Wars Return of the Jedi will be back in theaters for a 40th anniversary celebration. So go watch it. I'll keep reminding you guys as it comes closer and closer, but that is the most important thing you've ever seen in your life. Honey Badger says, Star Wars is poetry. It rhymes. Rey gives birth to twins, and Anakin, like Anakin and Padme. But since she's a Palpatine, and they strike him. Wait, what? Since she is a Palpatine and struck him down, Rey will give birth to twins. Yes, maybe. Kyle says, I will. Want to watch it with me, Mike? Of course, Kyle. I'll watch it with you. Of course. Honey Badger says, the opposite of Anakin and Padme, the opposite of Luke and Leia, Rey gives birth to two evil twins, and they will be the newest threat to the galaxy. That would be wild. Star Wars 2 says, can't wait for the 28th of April. 28th of April is going to be wild. Jedi Survivor and Return of the Jedi's back. Let's go. Swagger Like Us says, I hope the Grisk threat comes into the Mando narrative soon. It would be cool to see other threats besides Sith and Imperials. Very true, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Thrawn and his undead army, which again is a different threat, but it's not going to be the Grisk. It's not going to be the Grisk. Star Wars 2 says, that would be so cool if that happens and Grogu then fights them. It would. All right. We're going to get on out of here. We're at an hour a minute. We've only been streaming for a minute. An hour and 45 minutes. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for sticking around the stream for this entire time. You guys are the absolute best. Absolute best. Star Wars 2 says, can we end on 10? What? You lost me there. Like I count to 10? Can we end on 10 viewers? We're at 9 right now. Ooh, interesting. Well, I can't control that, so no. I can't just magically appear somebody else. Freak Seek says, Return of the Jedi rehashes the Death Star and a family reunion twist, but it's still my top 3. Yeah, of course. All right, we're going to get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for sticking around. Go check out that Discord in the description below. The people who love Star Wars, go check that out. Smash a like on this video if you liked it, or if you didn't like it, or if you just didn't have an opinion on this stream at all. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. All right, I'm gonna get on out of here. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for sticking around, and watch out for that video that comes out maybe tomorrow or maybe Saturday. And then we'll probably have some more videos as we go along. And of course, we will be live on Saturday night, either at 6, most likely 6. It's going to be at 6. Saturday night at 6, we will be live. And we'll talk some more Star Wars awesomeness, okay? And then we'll be live again next Tuesday, and again next Thursday, and again the Saturday after that. And for the rest of your lives on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, wait, I didn't end the poll. Hang on one second. End the poll. Where'd that poll end? 75% of you say yes, you're going to watch the Rey movie. And may the Force be with you always. What a great stream. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. Holy crap, we just jumped up to 12 viewers. Oh, we did it. We did it. Star Wars 2. We did it. I don't know how that happened, but goodbye all of you people that just tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. Smash a like on this video. You guys are the absolute best. And good night. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody.